You're watching the 420 Pace, found at 420pace.ca. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this toke. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News for April the 27th. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca. And good morning, Rev Cindy. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Al. I am still a little bit jet lagged, but I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Yeah. How and the trip?
The trip was fantastic. I went out and got my final, in-class level for breath work, and now I'm just got to finish up my practicum. So I am a fully trained breathwork facilitator using the breathwave technique, and I am working towards my full certification.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And did you get back in time for the speaker series last night?
The one Friday night, no, but I do have a copy of it coming to me. It has been recorded,
Okay,
so
good.
I will be able to see it and reshare it here on the network.
All right, sounds good. All righty. So we got 8 stories to cover today. I'm sure that you're just eager to get at it. And as always, I know we're going to start off. So
Yeah. Our first story of the day today is coming to us from the Times Colonist. The headline states, Mounties say there's no evidence supporting some new Nova Scotia government cannabis claims. And this is not a new story. It is new claims, but not a new story. The Indigenous here in Nova Scotia have been fighting against these claims and the Nova Scotia government for a while now. Getting into this story, the cannabis enforcement battle in Nova Scotia just took another unexpected turn, this time with the province's own policing partner contradicting key government talking points. According to reporting picked up by the Times Colonist, the RCMP say they have no evidence to support some of the claims made by the Nova Scotia government as it pushes forward with tougher cannabis enforcement legislation. Premier Tim Houston's government recently introduced measures aimed at cracking down on unlicensed cannabis storefronts, arguing that these shops are tied to organized crime, unsafe products, and broader public safety concerns. The rhetoric has been aggression, painting the issue as one of criminal infiltration and urgent provincial risk. This time they are claiming that these stores are also selling guns, cocaine, and women. But now RCMP officials are reportedly saying they do not currently have evidence linking all of these unauthorized Indigenous and gray area cannabis retailers to organized crime in the sweeping way the province has suggested. That distinction matters big time. Because if the central justification for expanded enforcement is public safety and criminal gang involvement, critics argue the government should be able to clearly prove those claims, especially when those claims are being used to justify raids on Indigenous-owned businesses and new police powers. From the Mi'kmaq leaders and cannabis, this revelation strengthens what they have been saying for weeks. The province is building a political narrative first and looking for evidence second. The contraindication, the contradiction also raises serious questions about whether it is, as some opponents suggest, a jurisdictional and economic power struggle dressed up as law enforcement. These, Al, are some pretty serious accusations that the government is making. Prostitution, guns, street drugs. And these are just things that personally I know. I know a lot of the people that work in these facilities or own these facilities. And it's what they're against. It's what they're trying to stop on their land.
Yeah, that's just, where's, like, as they question, where's the evidence? Where's the receipts? Where's the proof of all this? Has anybody ever been charged with any of these crimes that they allege? If they know about it, how come they're not out there arresting those people?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very infuriating watching this happen. There was accusations a few months ago, again, that came from Tim Houston, that there was fentanyl in indigenous cannabis, and that was shut down, again, with the help of the RCMP, by the way. So it's nice to know that even though a lot of these people in the RCMP are doing their jobs, many of them will hide their face for these raids because they don't necessarily believe in it, but they're not going to sit around for outright lies either.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's just absurd. Oh my boy, it's not right. Not right whatsoever.
No, it's infuriating.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Okay, from that story, we're going to move on to the next story. This one is coming to us from Green State. Headline says, cannabis rescheduling, what we know and what we don't. The path to cannabis rescheduling hit a new milestone this week when the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, signed an order immediately moving FDA-approved cannabis products and the state licensed medical cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Later this summer, the Trump administration is expected to convene hearings to determine whether to complete the broader rescheduling of cannabis or not. They can decide that. So what does all this mean, they say? Now, is cannabis legal now? Will people in prison for cannabis be released, or will criminal records be expunged? No. The order reclassified certain types of cannabis, but it did not fully legalize the plant. Rescheduling also does not include restorative justice measures. Those would require separate action. Next question. What are the hearings this summer for? Isn't rescheduling a done deal? The order signed this week applies to FDA-approved cannabis products and state-licensed medical cannabis. That does not include adult-use cannabis. Hearings later this year are expected to inform a final decision on broader cannabis rescheduling. Does this mean medical cannabis patients can travel with cannabis? According to Attorney Christine Sen, generally, yes, with important caveats, they say. As a lawyer, there are some it depends elements, she says. Did the person buy through a program that the FDA permitted? Do they have their products in the label container showing it was dispensed to them? What are the laws of the travel destination? It's the same considerations as when you bring your other controlled substances with you on vacation. Next question. Will patients need new prescriptions for cannabis from a doctor, or will their current recommendation be enough? Answer. Since federal law states Schedule 3 drugs like Tylenol with codeine and other steroids must be officially prescribed by a doctor, many wonder if the state-issued medical cannabis cards will still be valid. Based on the language in the order, it appears existing patients should be good to go. Next question. Can truck drivers or other Department of Transportation employees legally use medical cannabis now? It doesn't appear so. The zero tolerance policy of the DOT with regard to cannabis has not changed even if it feels like it should. Can medical cannabis patients now legally purchase firearms? Rescheduling does not change the current ban on cannabis consumers owning or using firearms. However, a Supreme Court case on the topic is pending. What about adult use cannabis? How will this impact companies that have both medical and adult use licenses? The order only applies to the medical cannabis companies. For now, hearings set for this summer are likely to address adult use, and for now, nothing changes with recreational cannabis. And the last question, can medical cannabis companies engage in interstate commerce now or international import or exports? This part of the order is a bit ambiguous. While it states that registered medical cannabis companies can do business with one another to the extent permitted by state law, it's unclear how that relates to broader regulations. Some remain deeply skeptical of interstate commerce because under federal policy, it requires explicit authorization from the DNA. Well, Cindy, there we go. Hopefully that answers some people's questions that they may have on what's the benefits, what's going to happen with this rescheduling of cannabis, or where it sits at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings a question to my mind as as somebody from outside of the United States traveling into the United States. If I travel to a state where it's now legally medical, like it's now federally legally medical, I'm a patient. Let's use me for example. I'm going to Hawaii where it is legally medical, medically legal, however you want to put it. I'm curious, and I'm going, like my psychiatrist is going to write me letters so I can go get CBD, because CBD is legal for anybody in Hawaii. You can walk into a health store and buy it. But I'm curious, am I covered down there, or do I have to get a hold of a Hawaiian doctor and get a prescription for while I'm down there?
I'm going to base it sort of on the language that we've sort of been mentioned, how they say that they're going to allow the state programs to continue. So if you're legal by that state, then you're legal. So I'm thinking if Hawaii, which is a state, allows people to come in and use cannabis for medical purposes, then that's a state decision.
I think what I might do, I'm just curious, right? So I'm going to experiment on myself. I've got a prescription. It's, through Veterans Affairs. So I'm going to get a hold of one of their, I know in Oahu, they must have companies, and say, hey, listen, I'm coming for a visit. This has now happened. I'm, I have a prescription, and what are the rules for somebody from out of state, using their prescription in state?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No harm inquiring.
No harm to ask. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That's that story. Moving on to the next one.
I'm so excited. This story is coming to us from StratCan. And courts, it says court to hear constitutional arguments over Indigenous cannabis. Court case now developing in Canada could become one of the most important legal tests yet. In the collision between cannabis law and Indigenous sovereignty. According to StratCan, constitutional arguments are being prepared around whether federal and provincial cannabis laws can be enforced against Indigenous-owned cannabis operations on First Nations territory without violating constitutionally protected Indigenous rights. At the center of the issue is a question Canada has largely avoided since legalization in 2018. Who actually has jurisdiction over cannabis on Indigenous land? And as far as the Indigenous are concerned, is who actually has, jurisdiction on Indigenous land. Doesn't matter what it's about. Many First Nations have argued from the beginning that neither Ottawa nor the provinces meaningfully consulted with them when designing the cannabis legalization, despite the fact that legalization would directly affect economic development opportunities on the reserves. Some communities have since developed their own dispensaries, distribution systems, and regulatory approaches, asserting that the process that they possess an inherent right to govern commerce within their territories. Governments, however, have largely maintained that the Cannabis Act and provincial retail laws apply universally. Now, that assumption is heading towards a constitutional scrutiny. Legal experts say the case could force the courts to weigh Section 35 Indigenous rights against Canada's current cannabis regime, potentially opening the door to a landmark ruling on whether Indigenous nations can independently regulate and profit from cannabis in this case, but really anything without provincial permission. This is no longer just about a dispensary raid here or an enforcement action there. This is shaping into a much bigger national question. In legalized Canada, does Indigenous sovereignty stop where provincial cannabis policy begins, or does it stand on its own? And in reading this, I just got chills head to toe. The headline itself, it says Ontario court rejects constitutional challenge on Indigenous cannabis rights. And I think this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I don't see this as an end decision on this. This is a high court in Ontario, so it can still go on the federal end of things. And I see that the judge has pointed out 6 reasons on why he rejected that claim. Yeah. He says there's nothing inherent Indigenous in the retail sale or trade of cannabis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cannabis is not a plant native to Canada.
Yeah.
Well, there are some, right? It's not a plant essential to history and culture of Indigenous groups. Selling or trading in cannabis is not an aspect of Indigenous identity.
Yeah. There's no persuasive evidence that requiring the applicants to hold a license for the sale of cannabis undermines their dignity.
Yeah.
Oh.
The right to self-determination as an Indigenous person does not give carte blanche to engage in any activity imaginable simply because it occurs on reserve.
Oh, yeah. See what happens.
It's going to be interesting.
As you said, this is not the end of this one.
No. We're at the beginning. Nova Scotia has a bunch of cases that will be coming to court. And it's just, I can see these all kind of convening together in the Supreme Court of Canada. And it's going to be interesting to see when all of the Indigenous band together, what happens. I'm power to the Indigenous of this land. Yeah.
It'll be interesting when they all get together to fight it. Because I can see that happening, especially when it gets to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All righty. One more. This last story before we go to break. And this is always great when we can get another country that's going to legalize cannabis. And here we go. Headline in this story. It comes to us from Newsweek. Headline says legalization of cannabis in St. Martin. The parliamentary debate and testifies. A parliamentary committee meeting held in Phillipsburg on April 9th gave renewed political impetus to the proposed legalization of cannabis and the regulatory framework envisioned in St. Martin, as lawmakers continue to consider the economic, health, and governance implications of a future legal market. The session, chaired by the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Livestock, followed a previous meeting held on March the 13th. At the heart of the discussion was a detailed plan presented by Native Nations, SXM, the organization chosen by the government to help design the island's future cannabis system. The debate revealed both the growing interest in the project's economic potential and persistent concerns about how the sector would be structured, who would benefit, and how the risk would be managed. The proposed framework originates from St. Martin's 2020-2024 government program which identified the regulation of cannabis for medical, scientific, recreational, and religious purposes as a national priority. National priority. Nice. Following a call for tenders launched in September of 2022, Native Nations was given the mandate to develop a comprehensive roadmap for legalization, including research, legislative drafting, regulatory structures, and implementation timelines. A key element of the agreement is that the government would not pay the initial costs. In return, Native Nations would receive a 10-year concession, allowing it to operate strategic segments of the industry as cultivation, processing, testing, and distribution, while committing to commit $750,000 annually, well, that's dollars, annually to a foundation supporting social, economic, and environmental initiatives. Now, according to Native Nations, the proposed model estimates that approximately 28% of the tourists could consume cannabis based on comparative data from destinations such as Nevada and the Netherlands. Now, Clifton Brown, a representative of Native Nations Cannabis, told lawmakers that the goal was not to create a new consumer market, but to formalize an existing one. Agriculture was at the center of parliamentary discussions, and the framework proposes a hybrid model where open field cultivation would be managed by local farmers operating as entrepreneurs, supported by guaranteed purchase agreements, and the possibility of crop rotation alongside food production. In addition, the indoor cultivation would be centralized and could generate approximately 250 jobs, with employees working directly for Native Nations. Now, the lawmakers questioned whether this structure would offer genuine autonomy to farmers or create dependence on a single centralized operator. Officials confirmed that the commercial home cultivation would not be permitted, although limited personal cultivation might be allowed under strict limits. There you go, Cindy. Now, it's nice that we're seeing in another country, and especially one that is south, where it's nice and warm, where people like to travel to. But is this Native Nations? It sounds like it's a company, and that's where that centralization of one business running the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a starting point, and that's what I said about Canadian legalization too, when it happened in October of 2018. Things have changed since then. Is it perfect? No. Do we need a lot of changes yet? Yes. Yeah. But the changes are being made slowly but surely. We are watching it across our great nation. From provinces that such as Quebec, who didn't allow certain edibles, who didn't allow carts, they now allow certain, some of those things have been allowed in, and they're working on allowing growing. I mean, Manitoba, who didn't allow a personal grow, can now grow their own plants. So, things have changed. People have stood up when there's been bad cannabis. I mean, I was part of that for suing licensed producers who, wrongfully and illegally used pesticides and didn't clean them properly. And, it's nowhere near perfect, and we have a long way to go, but it's getting better every year. And I can see that for all of the places that it becomes legalized in. It's going to be a matter of time. It means for the people like you and I, who are activists, who stand up and speak for the betterment of this beautiful plant, we're still very important and we're still very needed. As well as, the 420 protests, gatherings, the marijuana march, stand up for what's right. It's a beautiful plant, and it needs to be treated with the respect and love it deserves.
Yes, it does. All right, time for break. Time for us to take a 3-minute, around that 3-minute break. But other than that, we'll be back shortly watching Psychedelics Cannabis Educational News here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Camelford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. As for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Camelford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Camelford, Ontario.
That way. I'm having an awesome day, and I'm gonna make sure it stays that way.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the Greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching Psychedelics, the Cannabis Educational News. We got 4 more stories. We're going to learn about a little bit of psychedelic stuff, as well as when we go to out west, they're doing something that we need to do here in Ontario and other provinces, don't we? All righty, let's get at her.
Yeah, our next story is coming to us from The Ounce. The title says, Cannabis Sales Rise Here in Nova Scotia. Despite all the political noise around enforcement, one thing is clear. Nova Scotians are continuing to buy more legal cannabis. According to new figures highlighted by The Ounce, legal cannabis sales in Nova Scotia are on the rise once again, showing continued growth in consumer demand across the province. The numbers reflect a market that has matured well beyond the early legalization years. Consumers are purchasing more dried flower, more infused products, and increasingly exploring new formats as legal access becomes normalized. Retail convenience has played a major role with more stores, broader product selection, and comparative pricing. Legal cannabis is becoming less of a novelty and more of an everyday regulated consumer product. But the growth also comes with an irony. At the very same time legal sales are climbing, the province is escalating its rhetoric against unlicensed cannabis operations, especially those on Indigenous territory. And I must say, as a person who lives here, those are the only ones that they are rating. They're not looking at the delivery systems. They're not looking at the ones that are off reserve land. They are going after reserve. The realities reveal a deeper truth. This is no longer a question of whatever cannabis exists in Nova Scotia's economy. It very clearly does. The real fight is now over who gets to participate in the economy, who gets to profit from it, and who gets to be excluded. So while the sales numbers here are good news for licensed operators and provincial revenues, they also sharpen the conversation around fairness, inclusion, and whether legalization has actually created an equitable marketplace. Wow. Wasn't expecting
Wow.
the story to go there, huh?
No, I was not. I was not. Because, like, it mentions that sales of local products increased by 27% in the last.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I can see where their argument is coming from on that. Where is it a fair system because of what we're seeing in reporting here on the indigenous end of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting battle. I'm like, I feel terrible for the people who are being raided and they're just out there trying to help like everybody else.
Yeah. Alrighty, it'd be interesting. Well, even back to that the Ontario story before break, how that
Yes.
judge ruled. As you know, where I live, east to the west,
Around it.
there's what's that say about those places?
Yes. Yeah. Well, those are the places, like, I mean, like there were raids there not very long ago, and that's probably where that fight has come from.
Yeah, but they didn't go go in and clean them out. They only went after a certain.
Yeah. Yeah, they were picky and choosy out there too.
Yeah. Because there's some pretty big businesses that they could have gone at in order to show that, hey, we mean it.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
All righty. From that one, we will move on to our next story. And this is coming to us from CTV News down, obviously, in a story down from the U.S. And that says the U.S. FDA plans ultra-fast review of 3 psychedelic drugs following Trump directive. Now, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said Friday it will offer ultra-fast review to 3 psychedelic medicines being developed to treat mental health conditions, including depression, the latest indication of the Trump administration's commitment to the experimental treatment approach. U.S. President Trump signed an executive order last weekend directing the FDA and other federal agencies to speed access and loosen restrictions on psychedelics, a class of hallucination medicines which remain illegal under federal law. Now, the FDA said it awarded priority review vouchers to 2 companies studying psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, for hard-to-treat forms of depression. Now, a 3rd company received a voucher for methadone, which is related to MDMA, and it's for post-traumatic stress disorder. The FDA did not name the companies in a press release announcing the vouchers. Now, the vouchers don't guarantee approval, but instead mean that regulators will aim to shorten their review timeline from a period of months to weeks. Now, the FDA's special treatment for psychedelics is likely to renew scrutiny of its program for speeding up drug reviews, known as the Commissioner's National Priority Voucher Program. Well, there you go. Another step forward for some medicines that have been waiting to be approved. This has been, ultra fast reviews coming up on this. And it will be this pharmaceutical end by the looks of it.
Yep. The 3rd medicine is ibogaine.
Okay.
Yeah, so psilocybin, and then a derivative of MDMA and ibogaine. And friends of mine here in Canada, people who serve this beautiful medicine are, they're becoming part of it. They've got, things going on to help and to speak about these medicines. I've watched all 3 of these medicines be life-changing for people who never thought that they would find healing. And they've gone through all of the modern crappy, SSRIs, and it's just, and the MAOIs, and to watch people sit with these medicines and come out with their layers peeled and healed, and feeling comfortable in their true selves. it's just such a beautiful thing. And it's nice to see, even if it's a politician I don't like, it's nice to see politicians doing something that is for the people in that way.
Yeah. Do you think that this could make its way north of the border? You know,
Yes.
other things seem to come north, and
Yes. I think that, we are going to help influence their cannabis laws. I think they doing this are going to help us move forward in deregulating these medicines. I mean, ibogaine was only criminalized back in 2020. I think it was 2019 or 2020. And it had been unregulated up until that point, and then they criminalized it. One of the medicines I work with it's being watched. Like, I mean, other facilitators have been chased out of the country to work with their craft. So yeah, it's I hope and pray that for anybody who suffers, and then for anybody who serves, that these that they find ways to allow these medicines. I've seen too many miracles happen. I'm a walking, talking miracle. Myself. It would, it's a very powerful one for me, and I hope and
you're talking
pray
from experience.
Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah, experience. Exactly. Okay. All right. Time to move on.
And off to the next story, hey?
Yeah, we need this. We need this across country. This is the one.
We sure
Come
do. We sure do. When I was out west this last time on Salt Spring Island, I got to enjoy one of these places that we're about to talk about. So it's really exciting to see it happen. So here we go. Coming to us from StratCan, BC cannabis retailer launches consumption patio. And in the sign of just how quickly cannabis culture continues to evolve, a retailer in British Columbia, and more than one because I was at a different one, has launched something still almost unheard of in Canada, a legal cannabis consumption patio. According to StratCan, the retailer has opened an outdoor space where adults can legally purchase cannabis products and consume them on site in a special environment, somewhat similar to the patio model long associated with bars and cafes. For years, cannabis legalization in Canada has focused almost entirely on sales, where to buy it, who can sell it, how to package. But one thing legalization has largely failed to address, and we talk about this often, is where people are actually allowed to consume it. Because unlike alcohol, cannabis, partakers have had very few legal social spaces. Consumption is often pushed into private homes, sidewalks, or hidden corners, leaving little room for the kind of normalized social culture that alcohol enjoys. This new patio model changes that. Supporters say it represents the next logical step in legalization, moving beyond retail and into responsible, designated community consumption spaces. It offers adults a place to gather, sample products, and engage with cannabis openly rather than in isolation. Critics, of course, will raise concerns about, public exposure and regulation, but the patio points to a broader truth. Legalization is no longer just about buying cannabis. Increasingly, it's about whether society is prepared to let adults use it visibly, socially, and without stigma. And that may be the next frontier in cannabis normalization. As I said, Al, when I was on Salt Spring, it wasn't this one that's pictured here. This one is in Kamloops, actually. So it's a cannabis store in Kamloops that offers the one that is pictured here. But I was on Salt Spring, a little island just off the coast, and they have one legal dispensary there. It's a full dispensary, wonderful people that own it and work in it, and they this year have created an outdoor patio lounge for their customers, and so I got to go sit in it and and enjoy. I mean, like, is it perfect? No, but is it a step? Oh, heck to the yeah. Yeah, they did a good job.
It's yeah, it opens the door. Even though it is outside, it opens the door to allowing them eventually, hopefully, to make it in. Yes, many of us would like to return to the days of 15 years ago when we had lounges all across Toronto and across different places across the country. But now it's a different world when it comes to legalization, and hopefully, this type of situation can be changed or be affected across the country. Because it says here that it was done in 2024. It was a rule change that allowed existing patio spaces where smoking and vaping of tobacco products were also allowed to permit cannabis use,
Yes,
subject to local bylaws.
because
So
there is there's a restaurant in Maple Ridge that allows you to consume your cannabis on their deck as well.
there you go. And it's just a restaurant.
Yes.
It's not a lounge like a cannabis lounge.
No, it's a
Mm.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, just a restaurant or a cannabis store anyway. Good, good, yeah. And unfortunately for us here in Ontario, the last I had seen, our premier has said no, we're not having any cannabis lounges. But it was more about it was worried about the workers and stuff. Maybe outdoor, he hasn't looked at. I don't know. And
Yeah.
obviously, your premier, he ain't. He probably isn't hopping on the bandwagon right now either.
Oh no, not yet. But we do have designated smoking areas for cigarettes in the Halifax area, and we are allowed to, any place where it's legal to smoke cigarettes, it's legal to smoke cannabis. So now I can, if I go to an outdoor show, I can take my cannabis and smoke it in the smoking section.
Dedicated smoking areas. Is this that like you're not allowed to walk down the sidewalk smoking a cigarette? You have to go to a designated smoking area to smoke a cigarette?
In our city, correct? Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
I
not
didn't know
overly
about
enforced, but it's yeah, like there are designated smoking areas, and we're allowed to smoke cannabis there as well. Now, I remember back in November of 2018, it was a lot of fun because, of course, everything was so new that
Yeah.
I'd go to like a heavily populated area. I'd go to the correct smoking area, and I'd light a joint, and the cops would be like, "What the fuck do we do?" Right? Because it was so new, and they're so used to coming over, and it was confusing for everybody, and I found it absolutely hilarious. But it's they've gotten pretty used to it these days.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Designated smoking areas on the sidewalks or off the sidewalks. Huh, okay.
Kind of funny. Right?
So you can get busted for smoking a joint walking down the street.
Yeah, I now, knock on wood, I haven't seen or heard of that happening. And I go walking through Halifax, and people have got their cigarettes or their joints or whatever. But yeah, like technically, if a cop was in a bad mood and came across somebody smoking a cigarette or a joint or a cigar or whatever in a non-designated area, they could fine them.
Yeah, you have a lot of non-designated. But all right. All righty, time to move on to the next story. Here we go. And this one is coming to us from MJ Biz Daily. Cannabis sales saw a huge spike on 420. Here's why. Cannabis sales saw a sharp rise on 420 this year, particularly in newly legalized states. Sales on 420 jumped 47%, and transactions rose 46.5% compared to last year, according to online ordering platform Jane Technologies. Every 420 tells us something about where the industry is headed. Jane Technologies co-founder and CEO Socrates Rosenfeld said in an email to MJ Biz Daily. They say that this year's message is simple. Demand is still growing. New markets are still opening, and the operators investing in the shopper experience are pulling ahead. Jane analyzed sales from stores that were open in 2025 as well as this year to ensure the numbers were not inflated by new stores opening in 2026. On April 20th, retailers saw 73% more transactions than the day before. Which states led the charge on 420? Illinois, number one. Highest selling state with sales up 44.5% year over year. California, up 25.8%. Maryland, up 31.5%. Nevada, down 2.7. New Jersey, down 1.1. Colorado, down 7%. Flour was the top seller at 43% of sales, followed by vape products at 27%, edibles at 14%, pre-rolls at 10%, and extracts at 6%. Cindy, how can you tell me that these numbers do not add up to a lot of money being spent on cannabis on our cultural holiday, I guess you could call it?
Yeah, it's like Nevada down 2.7, New Jersey down 1.1. That's almost like no change. I'm shocked Colorado didn't go up.
Yeah, either that or they were just so high last year that it couldn't be beat again. That's the only thing I could think of when I read that. I thought, boy, why is it down so low there? But numbers are up. 73% of the sales on that day increased versus the day before. Now, it's 4/19, as some people call it, thank your dealer day. But nobody goes to the stores on those days. Maybe they're holding off, waiting for the purchase on the 420.
Well, a lot of places have 420 sales. So the sales, start when they open on April 20th. So a lot of people are going to take advantage of that. Me personally, the only reason why I don't go out anymore, well, this year I was in class, but there's a lot of crowds. The last time I went out was when we had Afro Man played in Vancouver, and it was pouring, like it's rainy season out there, right? And that's enough for me. It was just so many people, and it just wasn't the activist atmosphere that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Legalization did affect that, right?
It has affected the rallies, all that. Oh yeah, I see it all the time. I've seen it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right. Anything else offhand before we say goodbye?
No, I don't think so.
No? All right. Me neither. Other than that, let's see. Time to say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in to the broadcast, everybody. And thanks to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Camelford Lifestyle Shop, and as well as at ease.ca. We'll see you all Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. And as I always say, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit just to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
You're watching the 420 Pace, found at 420pace.ca. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this toke.
Tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on 420radio.ca.
This is coming to me from the International Cannabis Conference. What is the oldest cannabis fossil ever found? In 2019, a team of international researchers conducted analysis of fossil pollen studies to try to pinpoint the origin of the cannabis plant. For years, fossil pollen studies lumped cannabis pollen together with pollen from the Humulus genus. Now, their analysts concluded that the cannabis plant originated high on the Tibet plateau around 19.6 million years ago. However, a recent discovery is calling that conclusion into question, with a fossil found in the collection of the Berlin National History Museum, pointing to a potentially different geographically origin, and one that is which is much older. They say that the oldest cannabis plants in the world may not originate from China, but from Saxony-Anhalt. At least a discovery from prehistoric times in the museum's collection raises this question, according to a statement released Friday by the Museum of Natural History in Berlin. Now, researchers reportedly unearthed a spectacular plant fossil in the museum's collection, reported Stern. According to more recent age classifications, the fossil dates from the lower Eocene period, approximately 56 to 48 million years ago, and is therefore significantly older than previous known fossils. The fossil was reportedly found near Essleben in the Saxony-Anhalt area, which also calls into question the origin of the plant genus in Central Asia. The outlet also wrote, now it is worth noting that a definitive identification has yet to be declared, so it is still possible that the fossil could prove to be something other than cannabis. Now, the fossil's visual similarities to cannabis are striking, although it could just be that the leaf print is of an extinct relative cannabis.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day, and welcome to the Mushy Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025.
2025. I was making bets with myself, too, if you were actually going to say 25 or 24.
You know, what's funny is my piece of paper says 2023. Maybe I should update it.
That's funny.
What's funny is I don't actually really use the paper. It's just that thing that if I don't have it, I'll scramble and then I'll screw up. But if I have it sitting there, then everything just flows nice because I know. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you?
I am awesome. How was your New Year?
My holidays were pretty phenomenal, actually. Yeah. Oh, hello, Chica baby. I had a great holiday. I spent time with family, of course, and friends. A great big bonfire on New Year's Eve, bunch of fireworks. It was great. How was yours?
It was wicked. It was a wicked New Year's. You know, with the company that I've been keeping lately, how could it be anything but?
How could it be?
I spent time with family. I spent time with friends. I did a lot of running around and visiting and got lots of hugs and kept in communication with all the people around me that love to send me love, and I love to send them love. And yeah, here we are on the 7th of January, 2025 already. Wow. Yeah. So how long have we been doing the podcast? Because this says 2023.
Yeah, I think we started, well, we'd have to take a look. Al might know when we get him on, but we started early-ish in 2023, didn't we?
Oh, I don't know. I never look back. Come on, keep running forward. Woo!
I think it was early in 2023, not the whole year, but a lot of it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's at least year 3, obviously, in the calendar.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
First show of this year. We should start what you want to do. We should start actually numbering them this year.
Should we ask Al if we can do that?
We should. Bring him on up.
Come on down. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage the man who allows us to do this, the man with a mission. Come on in now.
And nobody's hitting the button.
I can't find the mouse. The mouse wouldn't wiggle the arrow. I was like, wait, too much space. Click, damn it.
I thought, geez, am I supposed to be hitting this button?
I'm that we're all hitting it at the same time and it's not doing anything.
See me come on and off.
How are you doing?
Yes, to answer your question, by all means, if you want to number them, I've actually while you were talking about that, I'm seeing you've got 95 episodes on YouTube. As far as the number of shows, and I've got a February 2023. It looks like is the first show.
Yep, early 2023.
Wow.
So you'll be 2 years. You're just a month short of 2 years, guys.
Wow.
Yeah. So that note there of 2023 is accurate then. And Steve, I completely understand what you mean by blah 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 blah. If you don't have them nearby. You may not use it, but it's always handy just to have nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
How long have you been doing shows?
Myself, let's see. I started doing actual radio broadcast on terrestrial radio, approximately a 3-minute segment on a local radio station back in 2008. I started doing the Reefer Reporter. So it's 16 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And then as far as podcasting, streaming, all that stuff on this end of things. Well, that's because I did radio. I did radio for years before we went into the video mode, right? That's why it's called Pace Radio, because it was just all audio. And I started doing stuff with Time for Hemp back around 2010, somewhere in there. And then and the Pace Radio show, which was just audio, it started about 2013. And I'm gonna say video wise, oh geez,
Not that long, because when
Yeah.
I joined as a reefer reporter, we were still just radio.
yeah, and like we were trying when we eventually started going to video, we were trying something on OBS and this and that and different things. But video wise, I'm gonna say probably, what would it be, 4 years, somewhere in there.
Well, I
Yeah.
gotta say, I was pretty
3,
blown
4
away
years.
because I did a Google for the Mushy Moment podcast, and watching where it all appears up and plays on it blew my mind actually.
Yeah, when I was when we're doing the radio broadcast, just strictly radio, that we would stream out to certain spots, but then you would find out that it was going out to so many different feeds that were being sent out. And this can happen here as well with the video, and you just never know where it's going to go, right?
It's kind of cool.
And
as long as it goes to the people that need it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's we all start doing advocacy one way or another. Like myself, I was doing writing and speaking to people in person, and the internet and podcasting has allowed all of us to reach a worldwide audience and reach more people and educate people around the world that maybe in their countries they are subject to draconian laws such as death for having cannabis.
Yeah.
So I got a message
that we're
today
still
from a
in
guy.
a period in 2025 that still exists.
I know it's sad, but it does. It still exists today. There's a fella right now from Mississauga here in Ontario who was traveling to South Africa. He had a stopover in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. And he had a stopover there, and at the stopover in the airport, they found he had 118 grams of cannabis, including oil, in his possession. Why he was traveling with it, I haven't got a clue, other than he's a patient, and people who travel with cannabis should know that the other, even if you go to a friendly country, it's not friendly to travel with cannabis very often, unless you found out ahead of time. Like here in Canada, you can, but when you go to an international thing, that's a whole different scenario. And so this fella, Maurice Kevin O'Rourke, he is sitting in a UAE jail cell. On Christmas Day, he was in front of a judge seeking an appeal on his life sentence. No one deserves life for cannabis.
No.
Or to be hung or in. And why had on? Other than I know he was dealing with the Addison's disease, which is a rare disease, and
now he's in jail for life. As far as the results from the appeal on the 25th, that was pushed over to the middle of January to find as far as what the verdict was going to be on all that. So I'm keeping an eye on it to find out what's going on.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It is. It is. Nobody patient
I mean,
otherwise.
just deport him back home and don't let him come back to the country, right?
Yeah. Kick them out of your country. And let sometimes they have different agreements, right? Sometimes they'll say, well, you got to serve your sentence in your home country. Sometimes they get retried. Sometimes they're just sent home. Done.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use them for trading for people that we have locked up as well.
Correct.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay. Hey, nice name too, by the way. That's my first name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I go by my middle name.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's because I'm named. My first name is the same as my dad's first name, and they didn't want two Williams in the house. Right?
Gotcha.
It's confusing, right? So.
Yeah.
So instead of call you Bill, they called you Al.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. But I did have some friends when I was in school. They did call me Bill, temporarily. That's all.
Did you ever get Junior?
No juniors.
No,
Dad didn't throw Junior out every once in a while.
Yeah. I see William. He goes by Will. I think another way of going with William as well is Liam.
Oh yeah.
You see it in there?
The last four, yeah.
Yeah. So you just never know, right?
Yeah.
So.
See, you can have half a dozen podcasts going and be a bunch of different people.
Correct. Oh, yes, you can be. Different name, but the same name. Well, I had a school teacher. His first name was Alan, and we figured out that there was 10 different ways to spell our names. Liam is, there you go. William says that. Liam is Irish for William. And hi, Carolyn. How you doing?
Hi, Carolyn.
But yeah, there's you can always play tricks with names, right?
Yeah.
Like Tessa is short for, or is a different version of Teresa. I found that
Cindy is short for Cynthia.
Yeah. See, we named Tessa after auto white flowering Tessa, cannabis strain. And then someone says, "Oh, you called her Teresa?" And I said, "No, Tessa."
Yeah, with Steven, you get Steve.
Yeah. Do you get Cindy? Sin?
I do. I get Sin or Sid. Yeah.
Oh, Sid. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Even though Cindy is the actual nickname for my name, which is Cynthia.
Right. Like, how does Bill get out of William? How do you get
Tradition.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
Well, senior answers to Will, so we're just going to switch the first letter on yours to a B for now. Even though with your William, we'll make it a B. So you answer to Bill, you answer to Will. We don't have to have both around every time we say Will.
Yeah, well, actually, they did end up. That's what they did call my dad, Bill. Yeah, it's but yeah, other than that, Christmas was good. We got together with family over Christmas time, and I got to see all the grandkids. Yeah, see, Will agrees with me. He doesn't understand how they got Bill out of William, but I get to spend some time with the grandkids, and they're all growing bigger. And one of my granddaughters was her first Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah, she's 8 months old, and so she's here, spend time with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and, things have changed. Like even simple little things like diaper pads. I said like for changing tape, like for changing diapers, you throw the kid on the ground, right, or on the table, and you throw that pad down. I said to them, is that some like, is this the new styles changing spots, because it's got all these little pockets and arms that fold off of it and this and that. I said, can you wrap your kid in it? Does it act like a real diaper or what? But yeah.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they keep trying to make things easier and fancier and
Yeah.
And they still end up full of poop.
They sure do, don't they?
that is true.
But when the line turns red, you know that it's time to change them.
Yeah, that's one thing they never discuss a lot of the time is the smell containing. They talk about it so it doesn't spill out, right?
Well, the smell is, I think, the notification that it's time to change them.
Okay, Carol, I'm just seeing Carolyn's comment there.
Yeah, lots of people call her Caroline, but her name is Carolyn. Carolyn. Yeah.
Carolyn. See you, Will.
Bye, Will.
Have a good day. But yeah, it's where were we again? Oh yeah, the names and Christmas. Let's see what else we did at Christmas time. Went out for a walk in the woods, enjoyed the sceneries out there over the holiday season as well, and tried to spot some deer out in the field.
Well, you've got a beautiful area there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's nice to be able to go out for a walk on the trail and spot the deer. Or I was out there the other day and looked like there was a bunch of either coyote or wolf tracks in an area where the deer usually jump over the fence.
Wow.
So I don't know what was going on, but I didn't. There wasn't any signs of a confliction between a deer and a wolf or anything like that. So who knows? Just to have, maybe it was just a day to hang out there out of the weather or something.
Celebrating New Year's together.
Yeah. Celebrating New Year's.
Party was going on in Al's backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no cannabis back there. It's a little frosty this time of the year. So.
Yeah, and if there was, then the deer would be there partying for sure.
Actually, when I have seen that in the past where I've shown up to a gorilla grow and you see the moose tracks.
and it's been nicely trimmed to the ground for you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Me and my buddy Mike, one time a gorilla. We'd gone out first and we'd taken it all out, got it all in buckets. Yeah. We placed them all around the mountainside, got it all ready, got stuff. We were coming back next month. We come back the next week and we could see that all of them, there's like 100 plants have been demoed.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, oh man, who would do this? And we buried a bunch of stuff in a duffel bag over by a tree, and we come over and it's been dug up and the duffel bag's kind of torn apart. And I pick out this stack of buckets and the claw holes through the buckets. I could fit like 3 fingers through. So we just kind of hopped in the 4x and got out of there.
we would find the freshly clones that we had just put in there on the ground beside the hole, and we always suspected it was the skunks and stuff coming in looking for the grubs.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because it's fresh soil, right? Because we had a portable road killer, throw it on the bike, right, and away we go. Back the shovel.
Oh man.
And it's yeah, so we would go back just to check and put them back in the ground again because they get dug up overnight.
Yeah, we did a little bit of guerrilla learning there. You know, we probably should have done a little more studying, but we found this nice low level area, had a nice creek going
Yeah.
through there. We planted them all down there. Yeah, where the animals come to drink, and eat your plants.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's thinking you wanted that spot that wouldn't go dry.
Yeah,
know?
it was like, oh, look, dinner's growing right here where we got our water spot. Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah. Then on
Yeah.
our last one we planted them all down. We found the south side that had been logged and it was clear, beautiful sun. We planted them all up there and then we blew up the 4x4 and never ended up back there. Who knows? Could be a whole field of dreams back there now.
Yeah.
Be something seedy though.
Yeah. I had one year where I returned and they're still on the ground. The only problem is that they're only like this tall and had little spiked tops on them. Somebody come along and chewed on them. Yeah. Whether it was a rabbit that came along and ate them, I'm not sure. But they cut them all down.
I'll have to try and get out one day to where we went and did that, because if any did grow or go to seed, that was Nanuska Northern Thunderfuck. It was the original Stank Romulan, and it was the original hash pot that we planted back there. So if any of it actually went to seed and grew, it's old strains that you don't find.
And now, after it's been sitting there, it would have been ready for harvest months ago. It would be.
Oh, it would have just been doing its loop of seeding and generating, seeding and generating.
Oh yeah, I guess you don't have a cold spell out there where it would freeze.
Oh, the seeds would still generate the next year.
Oh, I guess yeah. When the plant dies, seeds fall to the ground. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So if any of them went through that,
plants surviving.
They'd be some tall, big plants by now. What?
No, it would just be.
That's not making sense here.
Hopefully, half a mountain that's a hemp now.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Exactly. You just never know. It'd be nice if you could get back in there again, though.
Well, I know that
can't get the RV back there.
On an old GPS unit sitting in one of my storage lockers.
Maybe you and Chica, go for a walk.
Yeah, go on a little adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And,
is she still on your lap, or did you convince her to move?
No, she went over and climbed onto the bed. She's like, yeah, this is you stay over there.
Yeah, I think I heard mine at the door. It's that time of day. Al's on the computer.
Al's on the computer. Let's go bug him.
Let's go bug him.
Anytime you're doing something they're right in the middle of.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
In the morning when I do the news broadcast with Cindy or Glenn.
Yep.
Or I do the Hi Guys podcast with Al on Tuesday.
Oh, they hear you talking, and it's like, oh, they must be talking.
It'd be like 2 minutes before showtime, right on time, almost every time.
Yeah,
she gets out of bed.
Are we on yet?
Yeah, he gets out of the stairs and looks at him. It's time to go outside. So I'll go let her out. Usually during the broadcast, was live broadcast. At that time, then Cindy or Glenn just take over, and I run off and deal with the dog. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're pretty lax for a boss.
I know. And easy on the word boss, man.
It's tough under these conditions.
I know. I really, you know, crack the whip at you.
Oh, what is that me? Sorry.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
That's me touching the mouse pad and making it do things.
Yes, exactly.
Helen is here. Hello, Helen.
Hello.
What would be beautiful?
I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was beautiful.
Going over the back of the mountain and finding all those tracks.
Correct.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what we were talking about that time. It was, and she's right. It would have been, you know, go back there.
Yeah, it'd be spectacular.
There you go. She sent you a message. He says hi.
Wow.
Is it like would you be able to walk into it?
You know, we did a driving for about an hour on an old logging road up the backside of a mountain heading up to Squamish.
Oh,
so I'd actually have to GPS. We never went back because we needed a 4x4 to get there.
Yeah.
It was an old washed out logging road from way back that was ruts and grooves and
Sounds like a good time.
It was a lot of fun. It was, you know, but
I used to be a president of an off-road club. So yeah, it'd be a good time. He
had a tracker, so it had the short wheelbase, and we were able to get through. A bigger vehicle wouldn't have been able to get through.
A little Chevy tracker. Yeah. I had a Suzuki Samurai, which was the trackers were based off of the Sidekick, the Suzuki Sidekick. It was the trackers were like a at one time was a joint venture between Suzuki and Chev. At one time,
it was a cute little thing.
Oh yeah. Actually, I took the motor out of your tracker and put it in my Samurai. The same with your gears.
Our line to him was too cheap for Jeep. Buy a tracker.
I had a
Hey,
lot of fun.
should we go to that thing? It's break time. Time to check out our sponsors and pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushy Moment on paceradio.net. And we'll be right back. Hang out.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Camelford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling pins. Plus much. We've got bongs and your favorite riders. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Camelford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Camelford, Ontario.
When you have a it's big. Legacy for 20, it's so neat. Organic boutique, 7 days a week. Suppository salves, bakes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega, Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
I'm having an awesome day, and I'm gonna make sure it stays that way. I'm having an awesome day, and I'm gonna make sure it stays that way.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushy Moment, streaming live to you here at Pace Radio Net and everywhere. We're here live with Al Graham.
Hey! I was just sharing the broadcast as you come back.
Nice. I was kind of flipping through there while we were doing the ad, making sure it was showing.
Make sure that it's up and running. That's right. Yeah. Let's see what else. Before because of the Legacy 420 commercial, they reminded me of before the break. We had an interview with Tim Barnhart of Legacy 420.
Yes.
And we talked about the history of Legacy of the company and how it started out, and how he sat there for 6 to 8 months waiting for customers to come into the store, and barely anybody was coming in the door, to the point of having 65 employees and $25 million worth of product going out of the store. Quite
Wow.
the quite the growth. And we talked about all that, the growth of not only Legacy 420, but also the indigenous cannabis market that 420 is for sale. So what I've done now that I'm back to the computer again and Christmas is over, I'm actually editing that interview and going through it to highlight the business, for to basically help them maybe solve Legacy 420. And during the interview, he talked about one of the groups of people who he has talked with, and they're looking at possibly expanding Legacy 420 as far as product line and moving into the mushroom end of things. And Tim, he says he's wanting to retire. He's not looking at going that route because of his age and deal with it. He just wants to retire. But this group that's looking at maybe purchasing it would be looking at expanding it and adding the mushrooms to it. So that'll be all part of the interview that I'm going to re-release as an edited version, talking about
nice
420. So who knows, right?
Wow.
They could be coming onto the mushy side.
Well,
That's
go.
I was gonna say that's exciting. It's a big step. It's a scary step.
Yeah.
Watching what's going on here in Nova Scotia right now, there are a number of, whatever you want to call them, legacy, indigenous, illegal, gray area dispensaries popping up. Most of them are are at least in part Indigenous owned, Mi'kmaq owned, and it's really cool to see. The only ones that are being raided are the ones that are carrying psilocybin products.
Yeah.
The ones that are staying, and matter of fact, it got so bad that a lot of the chiefs stepped up and said, "You got to pull them. If you know, we will let you stay here, but you got to pull them. We do not want all this happening on reservation land." So the ones that are leaving the mushrooms alone are being left alone.
Yeah.
It's
I know
a scary
that. Yeah. Because with Tim, in the interview with Tim, he talked about Project Long Arm, the police, when they first came to his store and all that, and how he was able to prove to them. He gave them all the paperwork and everything, and said, take it to Jody Raybrant there at the Attorney General and have her look at it all. And they came back to him 3 months later and said, "You're right." And that ever since then we've seen the explosion of the Indigenous stores. But he was able to prove that they had this right to them, and I don't think that that's been done with the mushroom end of things.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so
No.
either. So it's I commend anybody that wants to go take that fight on, and I'm excited for the time that it is taken on, it is brought towards the courts, and they win, because it's another medicine from this earth that they have the right, we have the right, everyone has the right. So, but it's sad to see that that's what the RCMP is focusing on in this area.
Yep. Even here, Dana was the only one to get raided, right? Even
Just
with
Dana.
or
All those
the
other
only time.
stores, but just Dana, the one they know that's going to put up the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but at least he's willing to wave the flag and lead the way.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it takes.
I mean, come on, like we all know Dana, and if one of the other stores in Vancouver had gotten raided and he hadn't, he would have been pretty upset.
Hey, what about me?
Hello.
But yeah, it will. Eventually, it's got to make its way along, and it's going to be. I'm sure that there's all kinds of court cases, but I don't know if any of them have gotten to the Supreme Court for a big challenge like the cannabis issue did.
No, we don't have our Elder Smith in the psilocybin realm yet.
Right, and
So-
Fun Guys, big chain store. They had 30 stores in Ontario. As we reported in the news, they've decided to step back
across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of businesses, that usually can lead those type of challenges.
Yeah.
Get them going, but
Fun Guys and Shroomies were two of the first, and Shroomies, as far as I know, was still around.
Yeah, well, we talked about one on Monday, Zoomies or something like that, which is there was
another one, Zoomies, that
he's in Ottawa. He's just he's laying low, being quiet.
Yeah.
Not pushing things.
Yeah.
And the police always say there's complaints, but sometimes we wonder where was the complaint.
Well, here it's that ex-cop lady that became a minister that started to complain about Dana.
Right.
Right. And some of the complaints are people within their own circles complaining.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like this, other than the business is legal under the law because of being the mushrooms. What threat to society or the people around it is there? Exactly.
There is no threat.
Sorry, because as you say that, I just get a scope of everything I see when I drive downtown here in Vancouver, and it's just fentanyl, meth, carfentanil. You just go, but they're gonna handcuff me and haul me away for a mushroom.
Yeah.
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 And then he says, she says, zero threat. Zero threat, exactly. And it's, it's something because it makes, what do they call that? I'm looking, gives you that euphoric feeling and can make your mind disconnected from reality.
It can give you a sense of who you are, and it can give you the confidence in yourself to stand up for what's right, and that's what scares them.
Yeah. So, but I know around here, as far as mushroom stores, I haven't seen any around any of these small towns that I'm in. Even I don't think there's even been any in Peterborough, Belleville, which are the closest cities to me.
Mm.
Either. I don't. I'm sort of thinking they're more probably around the city.
Yeah, the big centers. It's funny because the big center, we'll talk about microdosing, or you get, talking to people about microdosing. It's like, it seems like it's a lot more common than it really is.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a lot of people that microdose, and it just, there's a lot of people not talking about their microdosing, but there's actually a lot of people that microdose.
And some people, if they're thinking about trying mushrooms, do they have, back in the day, what was microdosing? It was just, here, how much you want? All right. And people were taking it. Whereas now it's, the microdosing, all that type of stuff. And it's just
now there's options.
Yeah,
right?
you have the options.
You know so much more about the aspects of how it can heal, what you can blend with it to make other avenues of the healing happen, up to taking bigger doses and what they can do for the we've just got so much more data, how it how it interacts with other medications and stuff.
Oh yes, for sure. And more people, I think, are open to natural medicines now.
Yeah, more and more people are, especially even if they're not into the psychedelics or the cannabis or the the whatevers. More and more people are open to natural healing. So, and it's a good first step. They're getting into things like, doing yoga or breath work, or, eating organic, or maybe looking at legal unpsychedelic ways of healing, like using chaga or turkey tail, or any of these things, rose or ginger, or there's so much out there. So, and those are wonderful stepping stones leading to other ways of healing and understanding the naturalness of a lot of the medicines that we work with, right?
Yeah. Got a message here.
Yeah, microdosing is saving me and helping me to get off my medications, and it's lowering my blood pressure. She loves microdosing. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you can still function. I mean, it's not the days when you just sit there.
It's a great
face and laugh,
right? Microdosing is a great introduction to the medicine.
Yeah. Correct.
Because as you start and you find, because a lot of people come in scared and worried, and once you've gotten over your fear and you find your dose, it's literally life changing.
Well, I see a lot of people just don't want to be high. They're like, well, I mean, I'd like to try it, and I've heard it's helped, but I don't want to be high. And the whole point of microdosing is to not feel it.
Right.
Like, that's the whole point. If you're feeling it, you're not microdosing anymore.
Yeah, you just wanted to take away the anxiety stuff.
Is there a line where you say micro, macro?
There is a technical line. It's, anywhere between 25 to 250 milligrams. But for everybody, it's different. Like, somebody may feel 50 milligrams like I feel a gram, like a full 1,000 milligrams. So to them, 50 milligrams is not microdosing. 50 milligrams is above a microdose, if they're feeling it. So everybody's different. For me, I sit at about 110 to 150 before I can feel any effects, and that's a microdose for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I've had people that have gotten a hold of me and said, "Hey, you know, the 110 milligrams is too much. You know, I'm
Yeah.
feeling it's really, really rocking me." And in my world, that's what I require. That's why, you know, most of ours are there. But you know, now I'm realizing, oh, there's people that feel it even more subtle, and they require that 50 milligram, which is,
Yeah.
you know,
You know,
that's a new one we're putting into play for those people, because everybody should have the ability to utilize this to get them through those troubled periods.
for sure. Yeah. And it's just not the psilocybin mushrooms, like all kinds of mushrooms. And you know, I hated mushrooms, like just mushrooms. Period. No mushrooms on my pizza, any of that type of stuff, right? But you know, as a medicine, you know, in a capsule, all type of stuff, um, wasn't available when you know 40 years ago when I was trying all that stuff.
No,
Yeah.
actually, watching the growth in the last 5 years, like watching the market just
Yeah.
go, has absolutely blown my mind. It's beautiful to see, because that just means people are becoming more aware and conscious of healing. But you know what the different mushrooms can do for our immune system and our gut biome, and just resetting the systems in our body back to healthy, is it's
Yeah.
revolutionary.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was, you know, I was surprised. I didn't realize all that until you got involved, Steve.
So yeah, well, yeah, you know, it was a huge learning process for me as well, because it was, you know, it was either go back to all the medications they'd put me on my life,
Yeah.
or do a bunch of research to find my way out. And the
Right.
more research I did on microdosing, the more it came to mushrooms. And then it wasn't just psilocybin. It was like, oh, but if you combine it with lion's mane, and oh, if you add in some turkey tail, and you know, and then you start learning about these other ones, and you get into just how they work. And it's not, oh, you eat the lion's mane and it fixes your brain. No, you eat these ingredients, they go into your stomach, where they, you know, they mix with the acids, and then the ingredients within unlock certain locks in your immune system to make certain healing processes happen.
Yeah.
And you know, when you start reading reading all the processes that mushrooms open, and the synergistic combination of using more than one type, wow.
Do you think that maybe the research on it is accelerated more than it did on cannabis? Maybe because of the fact that cannabis is always looked at as a smoked product.
I think
Mushrooms, there's no
honestly,
smoking in mushrooms, right? You know, people.
I think the reason they're slamming so much study into it is because they can synthesize the psilocybin, and by doing that, they can create the medications. Whereas all they had was Dronabinol, and what was the other one? They only had like 3 of the synthesized cannabises that weren't
they
really
weren't as effective. Yeah.
no. So my own thinking is, I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do is find out how we can synthesize, stabilize, make it, use it in proper dosages, and fit it through the pharmaceutical end.
Yeah,
But
because I think
my pathway, whole plant heals, extract medicates.
Exactly. Because I think a lot of the reports that we cover on the news, we start rhyming off letters and numbers. It is a synthesized psilocybin. There are some that we do read off that it'll say, you know, natural mushrooms, but yeah.
They usually say like, the full fruit of the mushroom. A lot of them that we read, though, like where like we think, when we think the bigger doses or the macro doses or the full doses, a lot of people think 5 grams or more. And when we read them on the news, they talk about 25 milligrams. And what they're talking about there is they're talking about 4-ACO-DMT, which is the synthesized psilocin that they have made. And that 25 milligrams is equivalent to 5 full grams of a penis envy mushroom.
Yes.
So like a higher in psilocin mushroom, like a stronger mushroom, like the penis envy or something like that. So yeah, that's what they speak of with the psilocin. And it's actually called 4-ACO DMT.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just put an magic mushroom? DMT makes it sound like the DMT.
Well, there's also NN-DMT, and which is and then the 5-MeO DMT, which is what I work with, and there's a lot of the medicines that fall under that DMT realm, believe it or not.
Okay, so
and mushrooms are definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Whether it's the fruiting body
once the psilocin goes in and transforms within your system, it becomes dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah.
Is that what it stands for? Okay. It's one of those words you just see. DMT. Okay.
Oh, the DMT, yeah, it's dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So actually, even in those news stories, so the news stories you guys are reading about the different stuff, most of it is synthesized there?
I would say so.
I would say, yeah, 90-ish% of the studies that we read or report on, they are doing their experiments with the 4-ACO DMT versus the actual fruiting body of the mushroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And they are getting great results. It's
amazing.
always from depression to alcoholism to just name it. Basically, there's all kinds of stuff that they're finding a benefit for, and
usually with 2 doses, they usually do a smaller 5 milligram handshake type dose, if I remember correctly, and then they come in and hit them with the second dose at 25.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and
Wow.
it's like I said, results, and as we're seeing across, especially different states now in the U.S., legalization, for therapy purposes of the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well, I'm my own proof for me, right? The stuff that we have exists because I needed a way out of where my brain was taking me, and it's been a beautiful pathway. It was a great introduction to other things, and the plant pathway has been massive for my healing.
Yeah, exactly. And more people who learn that and find out that, that's why we do the things that we do, to spread the information so that others can learn from our stories, our own experiences.
Yeah.
So,
actually, one thing I learned just over this season, because it is a season where you get a little anxiety up, you got a little bit of stuff to do, you got past.
Yeah, yes, it is.
And I just had to up my microdoses.
Did you?
Yeah. It was like, oh, look here we go. It's that vibration's coming in. It's like, oh, got to go and deal with a bunch of people out in a not so friendly environment all the time. And
knowing your limits, when when you got room to add that, and it's not going to affect you.
It was actually quite beautiful, because I would tincture with some of the 1-to-1 cannabis CBD and drop a microdose, and I would utilize the hape if things were, riding a little bit high. Just bring in a quick grounding and then get the medicine in, and boom. I can honestly say this is the best I've been through one of these holiday seasons in a few years.
Great. And you got to share it with your new friend on your lap.
Yes. Oh, yeah. What have we got that's new and exciting to look forward to this year, Al?
What's that?
What have we got that's new and exciting to look forward to?
New and exciting. Let's see. Well, people might have noticed that the Veterans Action Council hasn't been running on Sundays. That was because we caught up with them. They have added more shows, so I'll be restarting that back on the network, getting that out. And it's always great to hear what they are doing in the U.S. And the last I had reported on them, they were trying to, they were, how do you call it, appealing it in the rescheduling of cannabis down in the U.S.
Yeah.
They're involved in big time, like in the federal government. They're always lobbying. They're lobbying over, like with the UN over in Europe. They're helping veterans all around the world. The organizations from veterans from all over the world. They're not just from the U.S. So they'll be starting back up, as well as I mentioned earlier. Time for Hemp was the spot where I started doing the radio broadcast. This past summer, I was talking with Casper at Time for Hemp, and we've got him jumped over to the video side of things, and he is doing broadcasts now, and I will be adding them to our network broadcast as well. And I'm looking at possibly with the news show, because we do the 2 broadcasts a week. Not really adding a third day or anything, but I'd like to be able to do like briefs, short brief of the news. Some of the stuff is, breaking news, or really good news. For example, Manitoba all of a sudden being able to grow cannabis instead of waiting 6 days to get the news out. Maybe do a short news flash, something along that line. As far as new shows, right now, other than bringing back and adding the Time for Hemp, nothing's new that I see in the horizon. As far as Ashley, she's obviously been off with her
New baby.
with the new baby. And she did a lot of traveling around the U.S. and stuff like that. I haven't talked to her since she's had the new baby, and she's still in her thread, and said the Merry Christmases to everybody. So as far as I know, she's coming back, and we're doing some broadcasts. So see what happens.
Yeah, John and I are supposed to put one together and propose it to you as well. So.
Are you okay?
We gotta get this going this year. So
I didn't have to tell you. I didn't have to look at you. Look at you, Steve. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Brought it up all by yourself. Oh yeah.
Well, there was a talk way back about John and you doing something, and it just sort of went quiet, right? And or he was getting involved somewhere, and so yeah. Let me know.
Yeah, no, we've been chatting and putting it together and working on some ideas, and we decided that this is 2025. Time to get alive.
Yeah, and we discussed it. You guys discuss it all the time. Psychedelics is out there. People are looking for the information. They're looking for knowledge, right? And that's what we're about, is sharing information and sharing what we can learn.
And on that note, it's that time again. Thank you for joining us here on the Mushy Moment with my co-host Cindy, myself, and our awesome guest, Al Graham. We're proud to be coming to you live from baseradio.net. We stream everywhere. We'll see you next week. Much love.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, bakes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega, Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponic shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with the tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone has more stuff that adapts to your budget. Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Doctor said, try this pill. Didn't ask how I really feel.
Sleeping days, shaking nights, lost my taste for real life.
Then a friend wrote truth in a paper. Little backyard old turntable.
Coughed once, heart went calm for the first time. Pain felt small. This is my green light anthem. My lungs, my life, my choice. I chanted, plant in the ground, hands in the sky, healing in the smoke as the days go by. You can call it wrong, you can roll your eyes, but I know what saved me. I don't apologize.
Singing out loud for the ones like me.
Cannabis care, let the people be free. Grandma hiding drops in her tea, says it helps her finally breathe. That down the street can sleep. No more ghosts in his dreams.
Still they slap cuffs on a kid for the same thing that helped me live.
How's that fair? How's that right? When the garden could change your life. This is our green light anthem. From the chemo wards to the campus, from the mothers who just want rest to the anxious hearts in that Sunday best. You can pass your laws, we will pass it round till the courthouse hears our sound. Singing out loud for the ones in need. Cannabis care, let the people be free. Oh, oh, yeah. Spark one up for the patients waiting. Years go by, still debating while the pills get pushed. Prescriptions stack, but a simple C gets pushed back. We're not criminals, we're just hurting, fighting for a kind of version of relief, of dignity. Let the plant grow, let us breathe. This is the green light anthem. From the pain ward to the anthems, plant in the ground, hands in the sky, healing in the smoke as the days go by. You can call it wrong, we'll still stand tall till every last charge and the chains all fall. Singing out loud for the world to see. people be free. Let us be. Let us be. Let us be. People be free.
After this.
I got dust on my boots
and a bruise in my name.
Your hand on my shoulder,
Like a match in the rain.
we left that town in pieces.
Never turned around.
Now dog keeps calling
From the fairground ground. Keep me from the edge, keep me from the fall. I can hear the thunder moving through the wall. Ramble on my soul.
burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul.
You wore a red scarf,
Like a
I found your name in gravel.
by the county line. We drank from a tin cup
On the bend of the road,
swore we live forever.
then the sky let go.
Keep me from the edge, keep me from the fall. I can hear the thunder moving through the wall.
Ramble on my soul,
Ramble on my soul.
burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul. If I go blind,
Take my hand,
if I lose my name,
call it back
through the smoke,
through the glass.
we were always made to
Ramble on my soul,
ramble on my soul.
burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul.
I got dust on my boots
and a bruise in my name.
Your hand on my shoulder,
Like a match in the rain.
we left that town in pieces.
Never turned around.
Now the dark keeps calling.
The edge keep me from the fall. I can hear the thunder moving through the wall.
Ramble on my soul.
Ramble on my soul.
Burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul.
You wore a red scarf,
Like a flag in a fight.
I found your name in gravel.
By the county line. We drank from a tin cup
On the bend of the road,
swore we live forever.
then the sky let go.
Keep me from the edge, keep me from the fall. I can hear the thunder moving through the wall.
Ramble on my soul.
Ramble on my soul.
Burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul. If I go blind,
Take my hand,
if I lose my name,
call it back
through the smoke,
through the glass.
we were always made to last.
Ramble on my soul.
Ramble on my soul.
Burn me slow, let me roll.
Ramble on my soul.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look, take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no for him.
Yes, it is. It is time for hemp. Thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. Please share us with your friends. I want to thank you for tuning in to Citizen Green TV. They are helping us raise our voice to a louder, feverish pitch to let the whole world know how important it is to take time for hemp. This is part 2 of a great interview. And if you haven't had a chance to see part 1, please go to timeforhemp.news. You can find it in the archives. And you can find lots of free music downloads and lots of great blogs and all kinds of groovy videos that you might want to share with your friends. And speaking of sharing with friends, one of the friends that I enjoy sharing my Time for Hemp moments with is Al Byrne. He's down in Florida, and he's letting the whole world know that the Sunshine State truly does believe in medical cannabis. Ain't that right, Al Byrne?
Yeah, we have a medical cannabis bill in Florida. It's been here for a few years. I'd like to say that because I wrote my book, the governor decided it was a good idea, but I don't think it had anything to do with it. But it's very popular here. There's been no ramifications negative, the use of cannabis by anybody in the state for years. There are dispensaries all over the place. I live in a very little village. Really, it's a fishing village on the Gulf, and we actually have 3 shops that sell cannabis products. And so when we're done with this interview, I'm going to go around and see if they stock our guests' products, because I'm already impressed as hell, and we're going to find out more about it. But before we do that, we have to bring in our token Canadian, one of my joint hosts, Al Graham.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Groovy,
and other than that, things are doing really well.
Well, groovy. And why don't you introduce our groovy guest on the big joint broadcast today?
All right, I'd like to welcome back Colonel Philip Blair. He's an MD. He's also a combat physician. He's managed chronic or product called BC Plus. And instead of me explaining to him, we're going to bring him on the show and we're going to find out all the details about it. Welcome to the broadcast, Colonel Phelps.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is a great honor to be with you.
Well, I don't know about honor, Colonel. I don't know with these guys, but why don't we get, what we've talked in the first half hour. You've been very, very wow stuff, but we also know we don't know stuff, and you filled in a lot of holes. But let's go right away. But you spent quite a background product to take that giant step.
Well, I didn't know anything about cannabis. Was all inclined to the derogatory nature. I never even experimented with with cannabis at all until 2014, and when I was introduced to it as a possible product that going to change the way our environment be. So I explored the literature very
military background, starts upbringing very straight. Did you have an attitude that people who smoked marijuana were a problem child, that they had a crutch, that they were some kind of hippie or whatever? Or did you have the connotation of people who used cannabis?
Well, I did, because I was active during the 1970s when there were derogatory and people were running into major problems with it. So, and I realized that it was very negative aspects to it. And I wasn't I was involved with the military all these years, and so I didn't have any exposure to what people were doing actually physically in the stuff they were exploring. And during the 70s, when the hippie time was going on, I was steeped in a military background. I didn't have any hippie exposure at all, so I wasn't smoking. I wasn't using the products, and I had generally had a sort of derogatory sense about it because of other drugs. So I had to leave. It wasn't until 2000 in the fits cannabidiol that I realized that I had been misled for years.
So before that's 11 years ago. What happened? What did you do? All of a sudden you're excited. What happened?
Well, I learned about the mechanisms and the targeting, and I also had a chance to sample many patients with it. And I cannot tell you how many people that I sampled with CBD, and it turned their life around within minutes of using the product. And I saw this wholesome response and beneficial response, anti-anxiety, anti-dementia, calming sensation, and pain relief. That it was exciting to see this kind of benefit that I had to devote myself to it. And I saw that this was the direction forward, and the way that I was leaving behind the pharmaceutical industry way behind because it was not providing these kinds of benefits. So, I was really deeply involved with it, and I saw all the benefits that were coming from it. Of research and defining how CBD could be used. But in that process, I learned about another cannabinoid substance that was found in hemp, but it was also found in 1,000 other plants, and that was beta-caryophyllene. Beta-caryophyllene is essential oil that is found in hemp, and there's as much as a terpene, and as much as 36% of the terpenoids that are in cannabis are actually beta-caryophyllene. And so it had a high percentage. And in fact, as I looked at different studies, I found that when CBD and cannabis was combined with beta-caryophyllene, we were getting magnificent results. And I've got study after study that shows the benefits of terpenes plus cannabis, and all across the board. So I realized that this had huge potential, but then I managed to get it separated from the cannabis and get it from another source so that I could introduce it to many people who cannot use cannabis. So it comes from cloves and black pepper and hops, and I had it extracted from those substances and put into an independent product that offers, and I've learned this from experience, is it offers almost all the benefits of cannabis, but it doesn't have any derogatory substance in it that could test out as a positive urine analysis. So it's available to military, police, first responders, to medical personnel, to aviation people, to certified licensed people. Anybody who can use it, who's restricted, could use this product and get great benefits from it.
Well, I got to jump in here. It sounds to me like you took chocolate and took the taste out. You took beer and took the buzz out. You took cannabis and took the high out. You ruined it.
Why? Yeah. Screwed it all up. Yeah.
What benefit? Tell me, what's going to drive me to this?
Well, so what happens with cannabis is that it works on the target, much literature on the CB1 receptor. Now, there's actually two types of CB1 receptors. There's a CB1 receptor in the brain, very specifically, and it is a different isoform than the CB1 receptor in the liver. and the one in the brain makes you high, whereas the one inflammation, you want to see in the liver acted, because that can lead to obesity and other types of inflammatory signals. But in the brain, it can mitigate against Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So cannabis is generally targeted and talked about for the THC effect and on the CB1 receptors. Well, now this is the opposite. This is caryophyllene, BCP, works on the CB2 receptor. And the CB2 receptor has no psychotropic activity. It does not cause any high at all. And in fact, it can mitigate against a high effect very specifically. And
That's what I was going to lead to next, is that we had somebody on a couple of weeks ago that said if you're using cannabis oil, when you smoke cannabis, you won't get a buzz. It's like, I can't decide, do I take cannabis oil to live longer or do I get high?
Well, there's different combinations that work for different people, and I don't know exactly what that your need is, but there's two receptor systems, and they work in tandem, and they can benefit each other. So the THC works on CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. Now the BCP product works strictly on the CB2 receptors, so there's no associated high with it, but it actually mitigates against behavioral abnormalities such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, and I believe it's going to work for bipolar and schizophrenia, as well as suicide ideations.
Well, and you said that this can help with blood supply. If somebody's got problems with their circulation, would this be a benefit to them?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it actually increases the amount of nitric oxide that we produce in a beneficial way. So it dilates the blood vessels, and it actually dilates the blood vessels in the
so what studies have you done to help verify something?
15 clinical human studies on the product, but there are about 3,500 preclinical studies that have been done on beta-caryophyllene. So what I've been using it over the last 4 years, I've been using it in thousands of people, and I've seen these particular benefits firsthand. One of the particular ones that I noticed very, very specifically is the relief of anxiety and depression immediately after taking a dose of this product. The product is a highly bioavailable substance that I put into a small molecule format and wrapped it with a membrane that makes it water soluble, as well as wholly bioavailable into the mucous membranes. And that's what delivers it in the mucous membranes immediately within 10 minutes after dosing.
Wow.
So, Colonel, do you, two questions. Do you use your own product?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to use your product. How do I administer it to myself?
Well, now, there's different formats, but the main one is the liposome format. So the liposomes are molecules that are water soluble. They're in a phosphatidylcholine, a membrane that is highly bioavailable. It gets absorbed really well, but it isolates the molecule, the beta-caryophyllene, into the molecule, so it allows it to be water soluble and bioavailable to the mucous membrane, so it gets absorbed into the bloodstream immediately. So that's liposomal product. So if you were taking the liposomal product, I'd want you to take a half to a full milliliter, and probably for you, I'd want you to take a 1 milliliter, hold it in your mouth for 1 minute, and swish it. And the pathology that you're having, whatever those symptoms are, just go run down them, whether it's aches and pains, if it's anxiety, whether it's stress, or if it's sleep disorders, or there's muscle tension, or there's contractile joint, any of those things, then I want you to do a self-assessment beforehand, and then a self-assessment afterwards, after 10 minutes, and you should see significant change in the benefit level.
Now, does that change only in your mental thinking or your emotional stability, or is that a 10-minute change? You notice it physically too?
Oh yes, it's physical. So one of the magnificent benefits of it is pain relief and mobility. So typically I've been using it particularly in Parkinson's patients, and it's showing magnificent benefits in terms of mobilization. Now, typically they have a very rigid facial appearance. They have very tight muscles and they cannot move very effectively. And this loosens them up. They get about 20% increase in range of motion with it. So they can be highly flexible. It's also topically, it relieves pain, burning, inflammation, bites, burns, stings, just from a topical application of the product.
So the same product can be used to either swish it in your mouth and swallow, or rub it on your body and make you feel good?
Yes, you can. But I also offer a topical product. It's in a gel format. And the gel format enhances the bioavailability through the skin, but it also has other magnificent properties. One of the magnificent properties that I've seen with it is relief of amputation type of pain. Phantom limb pain has been marvelous for. And I've got a number of cases. I've got 2 cases that they're absolutely devoted to using the product now.
Phantom pain's a big deal for vets. I got a question. So I put your product in my mouth and I hold it for a minute. Now, I'm assuming my oral mucosal area is absorbing this product. It's into my bloodstream, right? All right, so I get it in my bloodstream, but now that blood's going to take it to my liver. And is that going to change the chemicals? What happens when it hits my liver?
Well, it's going to hit your liver after it circulates in the body. So you're going to get the benefits right away, and it's going to go to the brain right away. So you're going to get brain circulation. And then as it processes through the body, it's going to go through the liver and to get metabolized. Now, in metabolism of beta-caryophyllene is actually to another beneficial product called beta-caryophyllene oxide. And that has enormous benefits too. It has a strong anti-cancer effects, but it also has strong other benefits, not specifically as a BCP product, but it is highly effective for other things. And then
you said it can also help with phantom,
and urinated out.
You said it can help with phantom pain. I've got a close friend who's like me, 100 years old, and she's had a leg amputated, and about every 20 minutes or so, she feels this horrific phantom pain.
Well, I've had 2 cases that have responded very, very well to it. I'd love to get another case involved and get her exposed to it as well. Well, I don't know. I'm exploring all these benefits because they've not been seen before. I've addressed many different types of problems that have not been effectively treated. For instance, mast cell activation phenomena. It's a mast cell reaction that occurs in a large number of women who have they have problems with their immune cell called a mast cell. And that mast cell reacts with allergy phenomena and pain and discomfort. And what beta-caryophyllene has done has blocked that particular pathway so that it relieves those symptoms almost immediately. In fact, it's been effective in blocking anaphylaxis in several cases.
So wow. So problems with pollen and things like that affect people. Would this have a positive effect on their reaction?
Yes, but I can't say that it's going to stop your allergies, but it can mitigate against a lot of nasal stuffiness and a lot of other allergic phenomena that goes on. I would definitely take it if you were having problems with allergies. Give it a try, and I actually put the product on my nose when I get nasal congestion or allergic phenomena, and I can temper the allergy very effectively with it.
Well, but you know that there comes a time in your path in life where you're just too old to mess with. People just figure put you into a euthanasia program. So, like, am I too old? I'm like 100. Am I too old to get any benefit from this? Like, if I had like swollen ankles or thin blood, my blood veins were shrinking, or if I was having Alzheimer's or what, is this going to benefit some old timer like me, or do I need to start taking it when I'm young?
Very, very clearly, it's going to benefit you. And anybody who's in the older age group. It has magnificent benefit. In fact, I'm working with a 94-year-old veteran who was in hospice because of dementia. And during that time, he was disabled. They expected him to die within 6 months, but he got started on beta-caryophyllene and he's almost completely recovered. He's now driving independently. He's giving interviews to veteran societies as well. So he's fully engaged completely. And he's talking about his past, his helicopter past, and his adventures in Florida.
Wow.
So he's changed entirely. And I've had other people with dementia actually reverse their dementia with using it. Plus Parkinson's disease. I've had enormous results from people correcting for many of the symptoms of Parkinson's. And what I want to say about Parkinson's is that there is preclinical science that shows that beta-caryophyllene could stop the progression of Parkinson's in its tracks.
Wow. So it's good for us old guys. How young can we, if I have a child, a young child, is this product of yours safe for a 10-year-old?
It's safe for everybody. It's a food product primarily. You know, it comes from hops. It's found in guava and grapefruit and oranges. It's found in basil, black pepper. It's all over the place. In fact, I have one slide that describes it as the Mediterranean diet. It's probably the substance that is giving the most benefit from the Mediterranean diet because of all the food that contain beta-caryophyllene.
All right, now I got a couple questions here. One, if I take it, will I test positive for THC? And two, should I have my doctor be aware of what I'm taking? Is this going to have any effect on any medications I might taking? Is this going to be something my doctor needs to be aware of? Should my doctor have to prescribe this?
It's non-toxic. It is. There's no drug interactions that I'm aware of. There's no addictive component to it at all. You can take it with any other substance, and there's no problems with it. As I said, it's a food product. It's been improved in its bioavailability so that you can get more in and get it effectively distributed in the body. Now, for children, there's no reason why a child cannot take this. I've got a 5-year-old who's taking this product regularly for his attention deficit. He will walk over to his mom and ask her for a dropper of brain food because it settles him down and he's able to do his work and interact with his siblings as well.
All right, now I know in the past Al Byrne has asked about how is this made? There's a certain way it's made, and who does the testing, and how do we know that there's like not chocolate syrup in there and sugar and when we buy it?
Well, it's made from cloves. One product is made from cloves that's extracted, and I can't say that it is organic, but it's made from cloves, and it's put into a mixture of a phosphatidylcholine, which is a common carrier and interface for the liposomal format. It's energized with high vibration to collect up the molecules and to put it into a thick liquid that is easily bioavailable from the body, and it stays suspended indefinitely. So you take about a half to a full milliliter once or twice a day, and you get the full benefits. And typically the benefits last for about 12 hours. Now it's tested, it's get regularly tested. We get certificates of availability on the substance. And we also offer a capsular product that is from a powdered BCP, but we're using hops oil for that, and we're turning that into a powder, and that is mixed with the purest of chemicals, and we're also producing that into the capsules, and those are offering similar benefits. But where these capsules are combined with other phytocannabinoids that can benefit the body as well.
And since it is a food product, does it have to be used like within a month or two? Does it have a long expiration date?
You know, it's a very stable molecule, and we've tested it out at 2 years, and it's been highly effective and maintained its concentrations entirely. So there's no impairment of its performance at all.
Couple of things.
Can I just get a question in because we're almost out of time?
Yeah, go, Al, go.
All right. You've talked about how this treats people with mental health issues, so on and so forth. Is there any advantage to people with autoimmune conditions?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because it works on the CB2 receptor. And the CB2 receptor is located everywhere in the body, as Al earlier said, but it actually has, it's located on the immune cells of the body, and it's located on neurons as well. So it's located on neurons, and it's located in on the immune cells. And on the immune cells, it acts to reduce inflammation, and it switches them over from an active phase of inflammation over to an inactive phase of resolution. So it doesn't turn them off. It doesn't look like a steroid for blocking immunity. It actually turns it off into a monitoring and regulatory fashion. So it's been highly effective in all your inflammatory cytokines, like the TNF alpha, the IL-6, IL-1 beta. These are all inflammatory molecules, but it actually stimulates the production of anti-inflammatory cytokines like IL-10. And then you may not know about these particular things, but these enormous benefits in these areas, particularly for autoimmune conditions like MS as well.
Wow. I can't believe this half hour's gone quick.
I know. We need more time.
I know. I have one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. It's not covered for senior citizens on their insurance. So do you offer a senior citizen discount? Is this a cost-prohibitive medication? Is it affordable? What?
Well, we're asking $75 for a bottle of that gives you 60 milliliters, and that 60 milliliters may last you 1 to 2 months. If you're using half a milliliter twice a day, then that's going to last you 2 months. Or if you're using just 1 milliliter a day, then that's 2 months worth. So it can be. I want people to stay rigid on the schedule. Now you can take more of it, or you can take less of it, depending on your needs. I tell people optimize your performance. And the other thing that I can see that it's very effective for is vision. It has a visual enhancement properties to it that can reverse macular degeneration, I believe.
Wow.
My mother had that. So, yeah.
We got 1 minute. Sleep.
Yes. It has magnificent for sleep as well, because it seems to relax the body, put a calming state into the body, so that you sleep deeper with more intensity, and you get longer sleep. But it can interfere with your going to sleep because the brain activates. So you can get really engaged in thoughts and patterns and exploring different topics with your mind. But if you hold off for a couple hours, you should be able to go to sleep and sleep in a very, very deep way.
Well, give a shout out to your website.
Yeah, so my website is blairmedicalgroup.com. You're welcome to explore that. I've got a number of white papers that I've written. I've got links to different topics, and I've got a discount of 20% for your first order.
Well, it has been a real honor, Colonel, to have you as a guest in the show. I'd love to have you come back in our future and help educate our audience a little bit more about this fantastic thing called the endocannabinoid system. And I want to thank you, Al Byrne, for introducing us to the endocannabinoid system here on the big broadcast a few years back with Dr. Meshulam when we did a global hemp summit in 2013. And I want to thank you, Al Byrne, for writing this beautiful book. And I want to thank you, Al Graham, for raising the voice up in Canada on PACE Network and letting everybody know how important it is to take time for hemp.
Thanks, Colonel. Thanks a lot, sir.
You bet.
Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout us history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Check your taxes, The founding fathers made sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses. It's money that's well spent right now. No excuses, it's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be. It's time for hemp. Fueling food and clothes and soap. Housing cars, your car's no joke. Henry Ford built a car with hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People be employed with balanced farming as it's meant right now. It's time for hemp. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words. He knew the value of these herbs. It's time to lift the hemp ban. It's time to make a strong stand. Yes, we can. I know we can. We can make a difference. Yes, we can. Just like birds of a feather. Yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah. Time for him.
Time for Hemp is a Pace Radio Network content provider. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. You're watching the 420 Pace, found at 420pace.ca.
The next one, this one is coming to us from Marijuana Moment, and the headline there says, "There's strong public demand for bigger marijuana reform than Trump's rescheduling move, federally funded study shows." The Trump administration's move to reschedule cannabis is popular, but most people support even broader cannabis reforms, according to a new federally funded study that examines public comments received during the government's official consideration of the proposal. The analysis of the 42,913 cannabis rescheduling comments submitted to the DEA shows that 28.9% supported moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substances Act, as proposed, and that 63.5% wanted further rescheduling or even complete descheduling. Only 6.7% of commentators opposed any reforms and wanted to keep cannabis in Schedule 1, which is the most restrictive category, obviously. And they say that this information was from the authors of this research from the Johns Hopkins University and the University of California, San Diego, which was published in the journal Addiction. Now, they say the public sentiment on regulations, government supports the United States DEA administration's proposal for cannabis rescheduling, though the majority views the proposed Schedule 3 classification as inadequate and supports further rescheduling or complete descheduling. They say that most of the comments, yeah, okay, I see I've duplicated some information here. Now, according to the study authors, John Ayers said in a press release that rescheduling is a meaningful first step, but the public record shows Americans want federal policy to go even further. Now, opponents of any change, meanwhile, frequently noted concerns about public health risks, addiction, and underage use in their comments.
You're watching the 420 Pace Reroll Saturday.
Morning rough, don't talk loud. I rush slow through the crowd. Green breath in a paper crown. Got the weight, but I sit down. Hard week, heavy hands. Pockets full of shifting plans. You say pain don't leave clean, but I know what the roots mean. Let it spin. Let it swing. One small spark and the whole room sings. Easy now, take your time. Feel that calm come over mine. Cannabis heals. Cannabis heals. 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 Cannabis heals. Cannabis heals. It cools. It shields. One deep pull, I'm back in my skin. Cannabis heals. Let it roll in. Mama said, boy, stay wise. Read that truth behind the eyes. Some folk talk, some dumb folk lie. Still I keep my head held high. On the porch with the plate half full. Baseline warm and the night too cool. Friends lean close, the worries fade. One love glow in the shade. Let it spin, let it swing. One small spark and the whole room sings. Easy now, take your time. Feel that calm come over mine. Cannabis heals, cannabis heals. Heals, heals, heals. Cannabis heals, cannabis heals. Yeah, it cools, it shields. One deep pull, I'm back in my skin. Cannabis heals, let it roll in. No rush, no fight, just a slow moon ride tonight. When the world gets wild in me, I find peace in the in-between. Cannabis heals, cannabis heals. Heals, heals, heals. Cannabis heals, cannabis heals. It cools, it shields. One deep pull, I'm back in my skin.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis. You're watching the 420 Pace, found at 420pace.ca. You've been watching Rerolled Saturdays. Thank you to our guests, our hosts, and our viewers. Up next, Rerolled Saturday Nighttime Edition. It gets started at 4 p.m. See you then.